Previously in this story on Roomfighters, we have the Pickering family of 4. They live in a clearing in a big forest and have basically no contact with the outside world. Except that once a month a basket comes in on a parachute filled with various supplies they can't get on their own farm. The children, Amanda and James, were born here and have never gone very far into the forest until one month the basket didn't show up. Amanda and James went farther into the forest than they ever have before to see what was the matter. But they didn't find anything. They reported back to their parents, and last we heard a little man with a supply basket was looking in their window. This is the story of that little man. Well, part of it anyway. Well, the part that relates to the story. So, the little man's name was Trundly, and he lived in a cottage that was next to the waterfall that was part of the river Leen that came from the Mighty Crag mountains in the north that dwindled into the rolling hills of Italline to the east, where the great city of magic lies in ruin. Now, many years ago, when the city of magic stood strong, there were 2 kinds of people and 2 types of each person. There were big people and little people. There were people of magic and nature, and people of knowledge and craftsmanship. Every once in a while, there would be people born who were both of magic and nature and knowledge and crafts. It was thought that these people should rule because they would be unbiased. Everything was fine and wonderful until one day some of the little people of knowledge and crafts got it in their heads that they were being treated unfairly because most of the rulers of that time were big people. Everyone tried to show them that it didn't matter whether you were big or little, but they refused to listen. They crafted weapons and armor for themselves and went to war against the city of magic. They easily took over the peaceful city and declared both magic and big people to be wrong for the whole world, and killed everyone who was different from themselves. Few were able to live in secret and told stories to their children about the glories of the old city of magic, but people didn't last very long on their own. People of magic and nature didn't know much about anything outside magic and nature and were often caught or did something unwise. People of knowledge and craftsmanship couldn't grow a plant if their lives depended on it. These people needed each other, but the little people of knowledge and crafts refused to see that. Eventually, they died out, leaving the city to rot with them. If a family was lucky to have at least one of each person, they could usually survive very well. Trundly had such a lucky family. His little grandmother was of magic and nature, and he was of knowledge and crafts. Together they lived quite well. As his grandmother drew near to death, she told him of a couple who lived in a forest, who were people like herself, only bigger. She told him to craft something that would carry things through the air, and so he made parachutes and attached baskets to them. He made quite a few. His grandmother cast a spell on them so they would always travel to the forest couple she had dreamed about. With her last breath, she told Trundly that when the last parachute had flown, he must go and search for the magical couple in the forest. Trundly continued to make things to put in the basket and would buy some things from the town of little people nearby. Every month he stood at the top of the waterfall and let the magical parachute take the goods to the far-off family. He had gotten so used to this that he had nearly forgotten his grandmother's words, until he found he had no more parachutes to fly. He packed an extra-large basket of goods and set off in the direction that the parachutes had always flown. He walked for many miles until he finally came to a clearing in the middle of the woods where 4 of the biggest people he had ever seen were standing in a house. He wasn't quite sure what to do, but as he approached the front door, James came bursting out, rattling about chickens. Katie, I will see you tomorrow with the next part of this story. DFTBA, and I'll see y'all at the after party. Just a quick little announcement to all of our viewers. Roomfighters is currently undergoing a regeneration. We hope that y'all will be excited for all the changes that will be happening. I know we are. So until then, DFTBA.